Hello, we are officially live. Hello, everyone. I am Marshall Harris, and I'm here today with my very special guest, Miss Loretta Herring. Now, I love Miss Loretta because she has came into my life, and she's like one of my closest friends, and I admire her. I look up to her. She's such an inspiration to me, and it just lets me know that what I am doing in the cancer community is working and matters. And she always encourages me to just keep going, and I'm doing well. So I wanted to bring her on today because she is a woman making history, and this is Women's Health Month, and I had to bring her on as my very first guest. So by getting started, I'm going to get started by her telling a little bit about who she is.
Very good. Thank you, Rochelle. I am so excited to be here. And thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And you're one of my favorite people in the world. I always think about certain people that God has placed in my life. And there are some people that God placed in my life. When I see their face in my mind, it makes me smile. So you're just one of those people that makes my heart so warm. And the work you do is phenomenal. I mean, the way you give back to others, I just can't say enough about that. So I first of all just want to thank you for allowing me this time in this space to share with your audience about some of the things that we're doing with Cancer Awareness Network. I am a 13-year breast cancer survivor, and I was
Hallelujah.
fortunate enough, wow, I was fortunate enough to find it at an early stage. It was stage 0. And so when the doctors told me that I was diagnosed with cancer, it kind of took me for a loop because for the past few years prior to that, I had dealt with another scare of cancer with my mom. So that's how I got on this journey, really, as being an advocate for other people, is through my mother's diagnosis with cancer. And so, because of that, my sisters and I started Cancer Awareness Network. And Cancer Awareness Network is a local nonprofit here in Birmingham, Alabama. And our goal is to make sure no cancer patients walk this journey alone. And saying that, that entails quite a bit because we know cancer survivors need a lot of assistance, not just dealing with the diagnosis, but just the everyday things they have to go through. Financial toxicity, the toxicity from the chemo treatment. I mean, so much that they have to deal with. And so once we got a handle on what we were doing with my mother's diagnosis, we decided to reach out to other people. Now, my mother was diagnosed back in 96 with lung cancer. At the time, lung cancer was a death sentence. And so when she got diagnosed, we didn't know how to deal with that. So we reached out to one of the local doctors here, Dr. Sharon Spencer, who's a radiation oncologist at UAB. And I had been working with her on another grant at UAB, which is the University of Alabama here in Birmingham. And she kind of coached us through that diagnosis with my mom. She actually was teaching us how to be advocates, not knowing it. She would tell us, okay, find out what the doctor's saying. If they go too fast, tell them to slow down. If you don't understand it, have them write it down. And so we took notepads in and we were taking notes, and they were spelling words that we had no idea what they were talking about. And so we would take those notes back to her. She would decipher them for us. And then she'd say, okay, now go back and ask this, this, this. And so that's how my mother's treatment went. And at the time, as I said, she was teaching us to be advocates without
Right.
not really knowing it. And so she's one of our biggest advisors with Cancer Awareness Network. And so right now, today, we've been doing Cancer Awareness Network for over 27 years, guys.
Wow.
27 years.
Amazing.
We've been helping people. We help people with financial assistance. We have students going to college with scholarships. We do Christmas. Oh my goodness, the Christmas hope for the holidays is so awesome because we recognize some families that's struggling, that having some parents in treatment who have children, and we make their Christmas very bright. So we are excited about doing those kinds of things in our local community. So we also do something I'm so proud of. We have workshops. They are lunch and learns, and these workshops are designed to empower cancer patients caregivers, and family members who need more information about their diagnosis. And again, Dr. Sharon Spencer is the speaker for each of those workshops. And she's been doing this work with us for over 27 years. So we are so excited about what Cancer Awareness Network is doing in our community. We're so glad that we were led to go in this direction. And we've seen such a positive impact because we found out that the more information people know about whatever they're dealing with, the better decisions they can make. And so we're helping patients make good decisions about their health. So we're excited about that.
Yes. And I did want to just comment. I can remember when I was going through my diagnosis and I met you and you invited me to one of those lunch and learns and I got honored and got some education about treatment thing and things like that. That was really, really wonderful. And so that is something that you're doing in the community. I'm so proud to be a part of and proud that you're doing that because it's so, so needed. It's so needed. Thank you for
Yes,
doing that.
yes, thank you.
Yes. And so now that we know a little bit about you, I want to tell people a little bit about me in case this is their first time on my channel or knowing who I am. So I am Marshall Harris. I am a national board certified health and wellness coach. I am a doTERRA impact wellness advocate. I am a sound healer, speaker, and I'm an author. And I have written two books. My first one is called Cancer Won't Stop Me. This is my very first book called
Yes.
Cancer Won't Stop Me, Unleash the Power Within to Not Just Survive, but Thrive After Diagnosis, and Become a Cancer Boss, which was just released a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Become a Cancer Boss, Unlock the Keys to Boss Cancer and Not Let It Boss You. And I've also co-authored a couple of books. One was with Miss Loretta Herring. She's also an author, and it's called Cancer
Our,
Survivor Series,
our
Volume
voice, our
1.
voices. These are cancer survivors actually sharing
Yeah,
their stories in this book that Michelle is also a part of. And I'm so glad you mentioned that about the
yeah,
books because in our community, we need to share more of our stories. Michelle, we have seen such a great impact when people can talk about their experience. Sometimes family members only know the fact that you had cancer, you went through this, you went through that, but they don't get the inside of it. They don't get the meat of what you had to
mhm,
experience. And so that's why we always encourage people to put it in writing, write it down, make your journals, talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more empowered you get, right? And so the
yes,
work you're doing with your books, your publication is so powerful in our community. And I've read your books, so I know they are great, especially the last one you mentioned of being a boss, teaching your
right.
what was the name of it? Uh,
Become a Cancer Boss.
Become your cancer boss. Yes, because that one has really helped me a lot. And guys, it's got pages where you can take notes and you can talk back to yourself and you can share things. So I like the way the whole layout of that book. It really is a tool to help you be better at the work you're doing and with your treatment. And I'm so excited about what you're doing, even with your Wellness for Life organization. It's just phenomenal, the work that you're doing. So thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I definitely have decided to turn my lemons into lemonade because I was diagnosed with this disease and it definitely changed my life. But I
Mhm.
want to make sure that I give back to my community and make sure that, we have sort of the same mission that no one does this alone, that we can
Yes.
impact each other. And I feel like we're both doing that. And that's the reason why I wanted you to be my guest.
Thank
So I
you.
have a couple of questions for you, just so
Okay.
people can get to know you better and what you're doing at Cancer
Okay.
Awareness Network. So can you share a little bit about your personal journey of wellness after receiving your cancer diagnosis?
Yes. Yes. And I always have to go back to the beginning, as I mentioned, my mother's diagnosis, and my sisters and I, we were just devastated. And so, it's one thing to encourage people, but it's another thing when you've been diagnosed. So I have been encouraging people, you can make it, you can do this. And then in 2010, rather, the doctor said, you have a lump. And I'm going, oh my gosh, no, no. And I had to deal with that. And the way I dealt with it is probably different from a lot of people, but some people will understand it. I rely on my faith for a lot of things. And so what I did immediately is I went to prayer. I went to the scripture. I started talking to my Lord and Savior about this demon I was having to that has attacked my body, right? And so I just gave myself the permission to pray, to read scriptures, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I kind of saturated myself with the word of God. And when I did that, it helped me to understand that no matter what comes our way, it's not for us to keep, it's for us to figure out ways to give back. And so in my diagnosis, I had to really be that person that, like you said, turn your lemons to lemonade. I had
Yeah.
to be the persons to change that whole dynamic because my family is looking at me, right? And they're saying, my mother had died of cancer. My cousin had died of cancer within 20 days of each other. And here I am with cancer. So they would look at me and think death, right? And so I had to start talking to not just myself, but to them that I shall live and not die. And so when I started doing that, something happened, something switched. And so what you have to do whenever you're diagnosed with any type of thing that's gonna be overwhelming for you, you have to prioritize some things. You have to settle yourself down first of all and understand that this too will pass. And so once I was able to settle everything down, take a look at a deep dive look inside of me and make the decision, where do I go from here? Whichever way this thing turns out, I've decided I'm going to be okay, right? And
Yeah.
so I decided that I was going to be okay. And so the challenge for me was to make sure that those around me were okay. And so I started to take care of myself by doing some personal things. Right now, guys, I do mindful meditation twice a week,
Mhm.
and I do spiritual enrichments once a week. I started doing a art therapy class for cancer patients twice a month, and once a month I treat myself to a full body massage. And so when I started doing some things to help myself, I became stronger within myself so that I knew that I was going to be okay. And so you have to know within yourself that you're going to be able to make it through and you will be okay. And so when you think about, what do you do? It's devastating. Nobody wants to hear those three words, you got cancer, but you have to get a grip on it and say, okay, where do we go from here? What am I going to do? The treatment is harsh. And for some people, it's harsher than others. Some people go through a lot of different types of chemos and radiation. I was fortunate. I did not have to go through all of that. But I did have to maintain myself in such a way so I could help others. Because I firmly believe everything that happens to us is for us to figure out how to help somebody else with it. And so that's how I've been basically living my life and doing the things that I do, knowing that whatever comes my way is not for me to hold on and keep, it's for me to figure out how I can help somebody else get through what they're going through. And so that's been sort of my principle of life.
Right. Yes, I definitely can relate to that because turning what I call turning pain into purpose,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the chapters in my book,
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps you get through that journey because every day is not always peaches and creams or roses. Some days are hard, some days are
Mm-hmm.
challenging, some days, you don't feel like it or you might need some inspiration.
Yeah.
But when you focus on helping others and giving back and you have a purpose, then it makes things better. It makes things easier. So you can kind of push past the pain, push past
Mm-hmm.
fear, and become who God has designed you to become.
Yeah.
It's a
You said
process.
something. Yeah, you said something so powerful when you talked about pain and your purpose. I was thinking earlier today, I do these long walk meditations in the mornings, and on my walk this morning, I was thinking about the exact same thing, how some people don't know their purpose in life. And I found that whenever you take whatever that pain is, you can find your purpose in your pain.
Yeah.
But you got to take time and listen to your body, listen to your symptoms, and just settle within yourself. And I didn't know how to do that until I started doing the mindful meditations. And then I started to really listen to my body. And when you listen to your body, your organs, and what they're doing, you begin to hear some things. And then you can be guided into the right direction. And so that's so significant for any kind of cancer patient, any person that's dealing with a lot of stressful situations. Just settle yourself down and listen. Settle yourself down and feel what you're feeling. Whatever it is, it's okay. Just feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. And then you can go through it.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I didn't know it would be anyone here that would have a question, but I saw a particular question, Miss
Okay.
Loretta, and I know that you will have a great answer because not only are you an advocate in the community and an inspiration to me, you are a powerful minister. And so, Markeith, he had a question, and I
Okay.
think it needs to be addressed with some kind of love and care.
Hmm.
And he asks, what do you say to a friend that a child has just been diagnosed with cancer?
Very good. Very good. There's a ministry called the Ministry of Presence. And sometimes we don't have to say things, we just have to be. And so what I would suggest for a person with a child, sometimes just be there. And I say that because I had this traumatic experience in my life where my husband and I were celebrating 25 years of marriage in Hawaii. The fourth day, he had a massive heart attack and died. I was devastated, didn't know how to deal with that situation. And that was a person God allowed to be in Hawaii from my neighborhood who changed all of their plans, and she sat with me. She didn't talk, she didn't initiate any conversation. If I wanted to talk, she talked. If I just wanted to sit, she sit. But that ministry of presence can be so powerful for the person that's receiving it. And so sometimes we don't have to say anything. We can just be. That's such a powerful ministry in the ministry of presence. Just be there for them.
Yes, that is
I
so
don't know if
amazing.
that answered your question, but that's what came up for me.
Yes, that is a really great answer. That's one that
Yeah.
I feel like I agree. I'm going to touch and agree with you on that one. Just having your present and just be there. I mean, of
Hmm.
course, if it's your friend,
Hmm.
just being there, calling, checking on them.
Right.
You and just let
It,
them know, whatever their names is. Look, I'm here. I don't know what I can do or what I can say, but I'm just here. I'm just letting you know I'm here. I'm thinking about you.
right.
I'm praying for you.
Right. Yeah.
And that means a lot because sometimes I
Yeah.
know, like when I was going through my diagnosis, I had lots of families and friends. I feel like they didn't really connect with me. They didn't really call. They didn't really check on me, and
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
hurts and it's sad. And I know
Right.
the reason why they don't is because they don't know what to say. But you don't always got to know what to say. Just
Yeah.
text, just
Be
call.
there.
And just say, hey, I'm here. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about you. I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
That means the world. That means the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
So presence. I agree.
Yeah. And so we've got a few kids that we've had to work with in our organization. And one of the things we found to be most helpful with kids, you don't have to say a lot or do a lot. You just have to be there for them. And so, what I would suggest to the person that's on the question on the chat is that you get the information and give it to them. Any resources that you can come across that may be able to help them on that journey, and share it with the parents. Um, but there's no amount of words that you could say. I mean, we can always pray for each other, of course,
Yeah.
but when it comes to kids, that's a different kind of thing to deal with. And so, just your presence and letting them know that you're there. And if you come across some resources, to be able to share those resources with them. And if they're here in this area, we can definitely reach out and help them also. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Loretta. All right. So my next question, you answered a lot of them already, but
Okay.
but you said that one of the things that you do is a massage every month. Are there any other natural solutions that you incorporate in your life today?
Yes, I like fragrances, the smell, the oils, and you know what I'm talking about because you and I do those oils. So
Yes.
there's some aromatherapy that I like that really relaxes me. Sometimes because I do mindfulness meditation, I can feel my body getting tense in certain situations, right? And so I have to learn to take a deep breath, learn to breathe. And it's something about the aromatherapy that really, really relaxes me. So I like to do those kinds of things too. I've learned as I've gotten older that we don't have to be on autopilot all the time. We don't have to be active all the time. We can settle ourselves down and we can listen to not just our bodies, but things around us. Go outside and hear the birds singing. Those
Yeah.
kinds of things really help to settle us and make sure that we're not so anxious in everything that we're doing. So I do quite a few things like that. Um, the art therapy, guys, is great. I've learned to paint on canvas, and that has really, really been a big help for me because to me, that's therapy also because you got to concentrate, but not too much, and you're having fun with it. So do some things that's fun for you, and above all, figure out ways to laugh. Figure out ways to laugh hard. Figure
Yeah.
out ways to laugh, laugh, and laugh. That makes you feel inside. Those endorphins get to going, and you get to feeling really good. So make sure you do a lot of laughter.
Thank you. Yeah, some great tips there. So I definitely encourage all of those things. Essential oils definitely have changed my life. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I became a doTERRA Impact Wellness Advocate.
Yeah.
And Miss Loretta is actually one of my customers. So yes, oils that come from the earth can definitely change your life. And I say get outside, ground,
Mm-hmm.
laugh, all the things. Live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life because we only got one
Yeah.
earth. One life on earth.
Yes.
All right. And my next question is what is some advice you would like to give to others who are navigating wellness after a diagnosis?
Okay. Take time for yourself. I just think that self care is so important. And a lot of times, especially for the younger people in your audience, give yourself some time to breathe. Give yourself some time to just be. Just give yourself some time. And I'm thinking when I was much younger, even as early as when I was diagnosed some 13 years ago, I was in a much faster pace of life. And so now, since the diagnosis, I've slowed all the way down and I'm enjoying life more because of that. And so when you slow down, you can really smell the roses, so to speak. You can really see the beauty of the world and the things around you. You can actually hear the buzzing of the bees and the butterflies and all of that good stuff. And so if you're not paying attention, intentionally paying attention, you'll miss some things. And so, one of the things I like to say to anybody that's been diagnosed with cancer, yes, it's going to be devastating at first because you're going to get hit with this tremendous thing that says you got cancer. But at the same time, take a deep breath, breathe, slow down, and know that you're going to make it through this. A lot of times, we found that in the cancer community, the biggest part of the treatment is being able to de-stress. Don't allow the stress to take over because if you're stressful and you got those chemicals going, that's another stress. All of those things interacting together can be devastating. So we would like to tell all of our cancer patients to just slow down, take your time, breathe, exhale, inhale, and whatever you're doing, allow yourself the chance to get to know who you are. And when you start to settle down, you will see life on a whole different plane and you will not be so anxious anymore. So that's the key is to not be so anxious, to make sure that whatever you're going through, you have a chance to really settle down.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Loretta. This is why I invited her to come. I wanted you all to meet her because she is just a wealth of knowledge, so inspirational, and I just love her.
Thank
And
you.
I want her to share a little bit about upcoming events that she might have in the community, how you can go and support her and her organization, Cancer Awareness Network, which I'm also on the board of the Cancer Awareness Network. And all right, share with us.
Okay. So, first thing we got coming up next month, guys, is called Survivor Stories on Stage. Survivor Stories on Stage was created so cancer survivors could share their stories in the live. It's a live production, and that survivors will come center stage, and they come on stage with the background music, and when the music dies down, they start to speak. And as they share that story, a lot of times their family members don't know all the details of that journey until they hear them on stage under that big spotlight. And so we're excited about that. We do it every year. So if you want to join that, please just go to our website, check us out, cancerawarenessnetwork.com, and you can get all the information you need to be in our audience. That is going to be April the 14th, which is the second Sunday in April here at Birmingham, Alabama, at the Birmingham Museum of Arts, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's a nice Sunday. You can take the family, you can take your friends, but just come out and support us. So that's one of the most recent thing we have upcoming. Then, as I mentioned, we have the 4 workshops every year. We've had the first one. The next one is in May. Now, at the May workshop, we also honor those students, those high school students that's going to college with scholarships. So we're excited about that. So we give them scholarship money to fix up their dorm, maybe buy a couple of books, things like that. So we're excited about that also. The other thing we have ongoing is the telehealth. Telehealth is a program that was designed during the pandemic because we found out during the pandemic, a lot of our senior citizens did not have emails. And because they didn't have emails, they got left out of the digital world that we're in. And so we developed a program that teach seniors how to use technology. And we teach them how to set up email addresses. We found out that everybody got a cell phone, right? So we're teaching them on the cell phones or on tablets how to have effective communication with their healthcare providers. We have been so successful in this. We got a proposal, did it in 2020, 2021. And then in 2022, we did not get our grant funded, but we came back strong in 22 and we got it, no, 23. And we got written into a grant with the University of Alabama here in Birmingham. And so we're still doing this great work. Tomorrow, we're going to be teaching the class at, it's at a church on one of the local churches here in Birmingham. And we are teaching about, I guess, about 15 or 20 seniors how to use technology. And so that is one of the ways that we get the word out. We go to churches, we go to senior centers, we go to community centers, wherever we find seniors, and we're teaching them. The other good part about this program is we wrote the grant in such a way so we are paying college students to do the work. So I go out there with a team of 4 or 5 college students, and they sit one-on-one and teach them how to set up these email accounts, how to do the password, how to get up there, set up their patient portal so they can have that effective communication with their healthcare provider. So we're excited about those things. That's just a few of the things we're doing. Yeah. If you go to our website, cancerawarenessnetwork.com, you'll see all the great work that we're doing here in the local area.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will be putting Cancer Awareness Network and the information in the notes so people can find you and
thank you.
Come to some of the events that you have planned for the rest of the year. That would be so wonderful and exciting.
Yes.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to share before I let you go?
The only other thing I'd like to share is if you want to get in touch with us, we have a voice line. That's 205 390 6957. 205 390 6957. You can call that voice line, leave a message, and someone will call you back. Or you can go to cancerawarenessnetwork.com. And that's where you will see our website with all the great things we're doing. If you want to send us an email, info@cancerawarenessnetwork.com. Same name on everything. And if you are doing hashtags and all that good stuff, you can just key in Fear Cutters and it'll get you to all of our social media. Fear Cutters, hashtag Fear Cutters, that'll take care of it.
Yes. All right. So I want to thank you so much, Miss Loretta, for being here today and being my guest. And I hope that my audience and the people that had a chance to tune in can see why you are such a wonderful woman that I admire. And I am looking forward to continue joining with you in hands to make a difference in the cancer awareness network. So I do want to let everyone know that I am Marcel Harris. I help cancer survivors advocate for their own health and wellness so that they can navigate through the healthcare system with confidence. And so, one of the ways I do this is through my books, and I also have workshops. So, I would love for you guys to get both of them. So, I know Markeith, you said that you had someone that you knew that has a child that is faced with cancer, and their parents will need resources, clarity,
Mhm,
understanding,
mhm.
and know what questions to ask. Get connected with me, and I can connect you with other resources. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank
Bye.
you for having me, Marshall. Bye bye.